It's November 2022. We are back at the largest gun show in the world, the Wanenmacher Tulsa Arms Show. Gonna chat with some cool people, gonna look at some cool stuff. So let's go. What's up, crew? It's Chris with CloverTac. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, John, how are you, man?
Doing great. Nice to meet you, Chris, and glad you're here and everything. I mean, we got a great show going on at the 2022 Wanenmacher's Gun Show. You know, of course, we carry all the safes.
You do have some safes, quite a few safes here.
You know, a lot of people are impressed by, you know, we bring out 30, 35 safes out here, but this is just not even, you know, the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we have over 500-600 safes in stock year round. So, you know, a lot of people come out and they see all these safes. They're like, wow, this is more safes than I've ever seen on any storefront just at this show. And then they come to our show and they're just, you know, just blown away by our inventory, of course.
Right, and not just safes, but you got the safe door.
Yeah, we do the
as well, which is pretty neat.
Whole walk-in vaults that we can do as well, which, you know, ideally for the gun enthusiasts, that's definitely the way to go. And you can also use it as a storm shelter, panic room, vault room, just kind of all-purpose.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. If we've got folks out there and, you know, they're looking into getting, I mean, we want to be safe, responsible firearm owners.
Right.
We want to protect our investment and so forth and so on. Not just firearms, but, you know, important documents and other things. You know, what are some of the things that folks out there, if they're looking for a safe, what do they need to be considering when they're looking for that safe that may fit their needs?
Yeah, so great question. I mean, ideally, we want to make sure, you know, we have the right size for you. You know, with gun safes, you know, it's hard to say. You'll see all these safes that say a suggested gun capacity, of course, which is always hilarious. You know, you'll see a safe that says 60 guns. You're always gonna have to cut that capacity almost in half, if not by a third, depending on the layout of the interior. So, you know, so if you have a 60 gun safe, it's really only gonna hold 35 to 40 guns, especially with your AR platforms, your scoped rifles. They're just gonna take up more than one slot.
Right.
So we want to narrow down, you know, what your needs are, whether you want to put guns, you're going to put documents, of course, because everyone's going to have documents, precious metals like gold and silver, stuff like that, even electronics like laptops. There's multi-uses for safes, not just for the guns, of course.
Right.
You know, the key features people want to find in a safe is it has locking bolts on the top, bottom, and both sides, four-sided all the way around the door, keeping that door nice and tight and secure. It's good for the theft aspect because it's harder to pry, but it's really mainly for the actual fire. But a lot of people don't realize that because usually when you have a really hot house fire and you don't have four-sided bolts, you're actually going to be more prone to the door actually warping out. Okay. So you're going to have more hot spots. Yeah. And ideally with steel thickness, you always want to look at steel thickness. I usually recommend bare minimum 12 gauge. Which with steel, you know, the lower the number, the thicker it is. Kind of opposite of what most people would think.
Right.
The reason I suggest that, if you go any thinner than that, then you're more easily to penetrate with like axes, hand tools, and stuff like that. And that also plays in the effect for the theft and the fire aspect. Fire ratings vary, of course. We can go anywhere from 30 minutes all the way up to 2.5 hours. You know, and a lot of people are like, wow, 2.5 hours, that's a long time, or even 60 minutes is a long time. But ideally, you want to be at bare minimum of 60 minutes on your fire or higher for good results of interior survivability. The reason being, you know, your house fire might only last, say, 20, 30 minutes. If you're in the city, the fire department's super quick.
Right.
But your house is going to sit there and bake for usually 24 hours at 300 to 500 degrees. A lot of people don't think about that aspect. So that's why I recommend 60 minutes or above. It's ideal to be, honestly, at a 90 minutes or above. And the only reason that we know that is because we specialize in this. We open safes after house fires. We do the whole warranty process, even attempted break-ins and stuff like that. So I can, you know, point people in the right direction of what a good quality safe is as well. And then, of course, always stick to your major brands, you know, that have actually been on the market for a while, and they actually do certain tests on their safes, you know, where they actually do true fire-rated tests and not an engineer test.
Gotcha.
You know, because they can say, oh, this has so many layers of fireboard, but they don't test their safes. You want to make sure it's actually a tested safe as well. So a lot of things to look at besides, you know, a box. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Well, a lot of people don't realize either, I don't think, that, you know, being able to get into it quickly after something happens is important too.
Yeah.
You don't want it to sit there for days and weeks without getting in, because you've got the heat, and as things cool down, you get moisture, you get condensation, you get other things. I've seen some firearms be in a safe, and it saved them as far as the fire, and then it ruined them as far as rust and
things like
that.
Corrosion and stuff like that. So.
yeah, if you want to check out some of the varieties, some of what SCI here has, well, of course, I'll put a link down below. Be sure that you check that one out. John, thanks for
it's nice to meet you. I appreciate it.
Hanging out with us and
Definitely.
talking safes for a little bit. That's going to do it from us here at the show, talking safes. But I'll have you another video up here from the show, most likely. Till next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.
Appreciate it, guys.